Your team culture is not what you want it to be, and it's impacting performance. Perhaps it's too laissez-faire, maybe too uptight, too chaotic, too siloed. Whatever it is, it doesn't feel right, and you want to change it. But how? In this video, we'll detail the causes behind a failing culture and how to fix it. Okay, so what do we mean by culture anyway? In my book, it's simply collective behaviour. It's how the team or organisation behaves in response to a stimulus. If the phone rings, a rarity these days admittedly, how is it answered? How is unwanted behaviour dealt with by senior managers? Do people start on time? Do they work late if there's a problem? We're not judging anything yet. We just want to be clear that culture is the way that the collective behaves at whatever scale. And let's be very clear that individually, people behave very differently than how they behave in a group. So that's culture, collective behaviour, no more, no less. Now, a health warning. You're probably not going to want to hear what I'm going to tell you next. But it has to be said, and it's this. You are responsible for the culture and no one else. The way you behave is the prime determining factor behind everyone else's behaviour. Let's take an example. An executive coach was working with her CEO client when the session came to an end. The coach told her client that time was up, presented her invoice, and said she'd see them next month. There was nothing to do in the interim except for one instruction: buy a copy of Time magazine and carry it everywhere they went. With that, she left. A month later, they met again, and the coach asked her client what had happened since their last session. The CEO answered that there was nothing of any note. The coach remained silent, compelling her client to fill the silence. Well, there was something strange, they said. Everyone seems to be reading Time magazine these days. When I tell this story to my clients, many laugh in recognition, but some remain stony-faced, as it goes right over their heads. As CEO or team leader, what you say is important, but what you do is critical. Everyone notices whether you realise it or not. So in other words, how you behave will set the tone for how the team behaves. What you do will always override what you say, so make sure that what you say is aligned with what you do. Unfortunately, this may not necessarily be the silver bullet you were hoping for. Behaving in the way you want the team to behave, however necessary, and believe me it isn't sufficient. Many CEOs and leaders behave impeccably whilst presiding over a culture which falls far short of what they aspire to. Why? Because as well as embodying the behaviour they want, they have to act against the behaviour they don't want. And this is the tough bit of culture change. If you want to make an omelette, you're going to have to break some eggs. What does this mean in practice? It means challenging any unwanted behaviour as soon as it is brought to your attention. No ifs or buts, no prevarication or justification, just immediate action. That action can take one of three forms. The first is through training, particularly when the culprit has acted out of ignorance rather than out of any animus. The second is through censure, telling an individual when they have stepped out of line and need to ensure the behaviour is not repeated. This may require disciplinary action depending on circumstances. And the third is dismissal. The whole is always greater than the sum of the parts, which means that a bad apple can have an undue influence on the collective, demanding action. Or as Dan Jacobs, in his job as head of talent at Apple, famously said, "I'd rather have a hole in my team than a lay hole in my team." I've worked with and witnessed too many senior leaders, CEOs included, that have failed to take action against a bad apple and suffered harshly as a result. All of them have suffered emotionally, some physically too, and a few to the point of wanting to end it all, simply because they failed to take action which was screaming at them to take. Tolerating unwanted behaviour in a team or organisation will seem easy at first, and possibly justifiable, but it will always, and I mean always, come back to bite you. Behave as you wish others to behave and demand the same from your team. And if you are ruthless in your pursuit of the culture you aspire to, soon enough you will be surrounded by those that think, feel, and act in harmony with it. Hit subscribe and like if you want more videos like this. See you in the next one.